Welcome back everyone to the SimZone. We have got the penultimate round now of the IMB Racewear GT3 Championship, and we are at Misano, already into this qualifying session. Adam here setting the benchmark for the rest of the field, 133.260 as he just comes across the line to set the fastest lap of the session so far. Malili currently in P2, 8/10 off. Looks like Martin pulling over to the side of the track to return to the garage. Miroslav Kucher in P4 on a 134.595, 3/10 up this lap currently, so we could see him into the top 3 of this qualifying session. Harry Turminen in P9 at the moment, over half a second up on his current lap, approaching the final sector now. Just got a few more corners to go before he crosses the finish line. Now this last section of the track, very technical. Misano, quite a technical circuit anyways, lots of difficult corners here at Misano, but he crosses the line to improve by 2/10 up into P8 he goes, only gaining 1 position there that last time around, but he's got more on his lap. Ulrich currently P7 in this qualifying session, still up on his time as well. Looks like Demarchi now returning his car to the pits. We've got Novak down in P12. I said down in P12, he's up by 6/10 as he rounds the final corner and crossing the line. Novak's going to put it into P7. What an improvement there from Novak, and that looks like he will return the car to the pits. The top 3 in this qualifying session, only the top 3 within a second of each other. The rest of the field mainly within the 2 to 2 second mark of the pole sitter, provisional pole sitter Tarek Adam. But before we go any further, let's take a look at the standings coming into this round. So leading the championship is Tarek Adam on 508 points, followed by Malili on 475, Marchi in 3rd on 227, Turman in 4th on 415, Cameron Martin in 5th on 383, Matheson in 6th on 381, Van Hoorn in 7th on 348, 10 points ahead of Ulrich in P8 on 338, Marco Visala in P9 on 333, and rounding the top 10 we've got Ramshield on 303 points, actually tied with Barth on 303 points. That's very close between those two, and actually quite close between Novak in P12 and Vozdetsky, but unfortunately Vozdetsky unable to attend the final rounds, so he'll be dropping down the order in the championship. But here we go, back to the qualifying session. We've got Manini up on his lap by a couple tenths. He's only just started it, so he's got a couple more sectors to go here, and all running wide there, invalidating his lap, so this one's not going to count here for Malili. Let's look who else is up on our lap. No one currently, but where is Adam? Let's see if we can get an onboard lap with Adam if he decides to go for another lap here at Misano. He's still got a few more corners to go. Looks like Van Hoorn a 10th up, but he's just started his lap here, so he could in fact go on board with Van Hoorn, which is what we'd do. So important to get a very good exit through this left-hander, because it's a long straight before the next braking zone. And Van Hoorn using the curb on entry. Important not to take too much. We've got Marble sitting on either side of the track, but there we go. Van Hoorn early on the power, using a bit of curb on the exit, moving over to the left-hand side of the track as soon as possible to get a straight braking zone, and a bit of oversteer there for Van Hoorn. But back onto this long flat-out section, we've got a triple right-hander. 2 of them flat out. Now after this right-hander, it will be braking down to 4th or even 3rd for Van Hoorn, and using the curb to open up this right-hander. Very, very tight hairpin, and early in the power there, getting the wheel straight as possible in order to limit how much TC kicks in, and down to the last corner, using the curb on the inside to get the car hooked around, and making sure to use a bit of curb on the exit. Not too much though, because that's where you see lots of drivers invalidating their lap. But there we go. We got an onboard there from Van Hoorn at Misano, and looks like Adam up for another improvement this lap. Still got a bit to go, but he is very, very even with his personal best so far. So he could improve by a couple hundredths, maybe a couple thousandths here on this qualifying lap. Let's see what he can do. Competizione currently sitting in P4, but he's 2/10 up on this lap. He needs a bit more than that to gain P3 off of Cameron Martin there, but Adam rounding the final corner, he did invalidate his lap, so it won't be an improvement. Where is Competizione? He's now coming up towards the final corner, not using too much curb on entry, but he's still 2/10 up, and it's going to be an improvement, but it's not enough there to gain a position on Martin. So we look down to Matthewson in that bright pink Ferrari of his, approaching the final corner now. What can Matthewson do? A 10th up. Looks like he may have missed the apex slightly, so I don't think... Oh, it was an improvement, but not by much whatsoever. There we go. Pulls off to the side of the track to return to garage. And Adam, once again, a 10th up, looking to improve. In fact, I don't even think he needs to. He's a whole 8/10 quicker than Malini there in P2. No one able to get close enough in his qualifying session to Adam. But of course he's going to want to try and improve on his personal best. We go down to Johnny Marsh in P16, 3/10 up. Another fitted UK motorsport driver. A few of these drivers were missing at Imola, in fact, or the round before that. They did actually go to watch the F1 at Imola, but unfortunately that did get cancelled due to the flooding. But they are back on track now. And looks like Marsh about to cross the line, 3/10 up. Where is this going to put him? Puts him up into P13, the highest running Mercedes and the only Mercedes out on track here in this championship. But there we go, P13 for Marsh. Not long left in this qualifying session to go, and not much time for drivers to improve either. I believe now the drivers who are sat in the pits will not have another chance to improve. So Van Hoorn, Mitchell, Breen and your bad boy all with their qualifying sessions over. And oh, Marsh there just cutting the corner a bit too much. That's his qualifying session over, and I think he'll be pulling over here to no, he's going to continue, but there's actually, he could get another lap in. I think that's what he's trying to aim for, but that is in front of him. That's Shen, who is on a lap currently, so of course Marsh won't be overtaking him. But Shen 2/10 up, so he is up on his time. And both of these two eager to get round to start another lap. I think they have plenty of time to do so. You can see there Marsh just backed off slightly, doesn't want to pressure Shen too much as it's only qualifying. But they definitely want to get round to do another lap, and Adam there 132.967, the only driver into the 132s, and a whole second quicker than Malili in P2 in this qualifying session. Unbelievable pace there from Adam, and Shen's going to come across the line to improve by 6/10, and that's put him up into P20. Breen down to P21. Barth currently 3/10 up, and the timer has hit 0, so now anyone who crosses the line will have their qualifying session over. And Lapria saying, Jan, don't drive on the sleeping policeman. A bit of karaoke going on the chat once again, but the top four all in the pits now. So they are done with their qualifying session. Barth, oh, a bit of oversteer on the exit. You could hear the traction control kicking in as well. And I think that's it for Barth. No improvement there from him. So there we have it. The top three, Adam in P1, Malini in P2, and Competizione in P3. We'll be back for the start of the race, so make sure to stick with us. There we go, the drivers onto the formation lap now. And as we saw in qualifying, Adam taking pole by over a second. Very dominant qualifying session there once again from Tarek Adam. Malili in P2, but over a second back. He's going to need a miracle here if he wants to stick with the man on pole. Let's get a quick grid walk here while we are on the formation lap. Competizione with a much better showing at Misano than last time round at Imola, I believe it was. Malili P2, Competizione P3, Martin in P4, Kutscher in P5, Ulrich in P6, Hutchinson P7, Matheson in P8. Good qualifying session for him as well, in the top 10. Demarchi in P9, Ramshield in P10. We saw Demarchi further up the field previous rounds, but down in P9 at the moment. Ramshield P10, Novak P11. Brilliant qualifying session there from Novak. Vasalo in P12, Turman in P13, Barth P14, Marsh in P15, your bad boy in P16, Purcell down in P17, Van Hoorn in P18, Mitchell in P19, nice livery there on that car as well. Shen down in P20, Breen in P21, and Batterone, who I believe didn't set a qualifying lap, down in P22, rounding off the field. So we are approaching the end of the lap. We'll see the drivers lining up side by side very shortly, but let's get a quick track walk of Misano here. So no, that's not Misano. For some reason, it doesn't seem to be Misano. Okay, that's not working. It's set to Misano, but apparently not. Well, I don't think we're going to have a track walk then. Let's ignore that. We saw nothing. There we go. We've got the drivers lining up side by side, and it's very hot temperatures here at Misano. We are pretty much in summertime now, so 29 degrees, ambient temp of 37 degrees, track temp here at Misano. So very, very warm. And we've got a few comments coming in. We've got Civolotti, good to see you. We've got Mr. CJ, also known as Carl, saying that he needs to adjust his load cell. But here we go, we are green. Adam off to a good start, already pulling over to the racing line. Manili not able to stick with him, but is that Competizione looking down the inside? It is, and he has to slot back in though. We've almost had a bit of a domino effect there between the drivers, but that's Cameron Martin and Kutcher side by side. Looks like Kutcher's got the move done on Martin. He's going to have the inside, but Martin looking for a switchback, and no, he's going to slot back in there. That's such a difficult corner at the start of the race. It's so easy to make contact going through there. And let's get a helicam of all the drivers here on the opening lap. But it looks like the majority have made it through very cleanly. In fact, everyone has, but looking down the order, we have got a few drivers very, very close here. Even that, oh wow, that was very close. Novak missing his braking point, almost colliding with Matheson there. Tuominen not able to capitalize on that, but Novak with a good start, moving up into P10 now, starting P11, and Matheson looking for a move now on Demarchi, but unable to get it done into the braking zone, a bit too far back. But now he's got the slipstream going onto this long straight up towards the triple right-hander, and look at the train, the amount of cars we've got here on the track. And in the background, of course, Batterone doesn't seem to have the pace here at Misano, so he's just trailing along at the end, but he could be picking up some free positions if drivers come into contact. And I'm sure when they're racing this close with this many cars at high speed, there is possibly going to be some contact throughout the field. But Van Hoorn down in P16, in fact he has gained a couple of positions off the start, started in P18, and looks like Shen has now got past your bad boy here side by side, and looks like Paul Mitchell there is down the inside of your bad boy. Up into P19 goes Mitchell, and he's going to secure that going into turn one. Let's go back to the race leader Adam, who's now opened up a second and probably second and a half to Malili now in P2. Okay, 1.4. Okay, now 1.5. But yeah, he's pulled away already. I think that was expected, judging by the qualifying times. I had him a second quicker than Malini in qualifying, and Competizione now having to fend off Kutcher. Kutcher's had a brilliant start. He got past Martin there on the first couple of corners. Now he's challenging Competizione for a move, looking towards the outside of this right-hander. Is he going to try and go for a switchback? I don't think he will be, but he's going to go for a late apex to get a good run on this back straight, and he's going to have the slipstream as well, and looks like he's got a brilliant exit. He's glued to the rear bumper of that Lamborghini Evo, and is he going to pull towards the inside? He's not. There's nowhere for him to go here in this right-hander, and he's looking for a move down the inside, but it's so risky here. The rear can easily come round and try and overtake you if you push the car a bit too hard. But Kutcher knows what he's doing here. He's played the sensible game, and he's just keeping the pressure onto Competizione, but he has to be careful. Martin closing back in now after being overtaken in the opening lap. Ulrich as well closing in on them, and likewise we've got 3 more cars behind. Hutchison, DeMarchi and Matheson all closing in on this battle. Let's look further down as well. We've got Barth in a bit of a battle here, fending off Van Hoorn is Barth. Barth struggling to keep the car where it is at the moment. What's happened to Van Hoorn? I think he's lost the car through the final corner, I believe. Is it a disconnection for car? I don't see his car on the circuit, and I think it might be. I think Van Hoorn may have had a DC. That would have been the first time Van Hoorn has possibly disconnected, so very unsure what has happened there to him. Let's hope he can join back in time, but Barth is struggling to keep pace here. We saw in qualifying as well. But he's back. Oh no, I think we might have some sort of server error here. Yep, unfortunately I think we've got a mass disconnection. So we will be back in just a moment, and we will try and yeah, we'll be back in just a moment.